We've got a really exciting broadcast today because I am going to use this as an opportunity to introduce you to Make Volume 73. This is our new issue that just came out, and we've got three of the contributors to the new issue on the broadcast with us today. But first of all, let me give you a quick run through about Family Maker Camp. Family Maker Camp is bringing you projects to do at home, supporting and guiding parents with hands-on learning, featuring awesome makers and awesome projects. And just helps you kind of get through this whole crazy period that we're in right now. Be sure to check out makercamp.com/events for all the shows that we're working on, and be sure to sign up there as well at makercamp.com. So, today we're going to be talking about Make Volume 73, but normally with these Maker Camp broadcasts that we do, we've got a lot of different hosts that give us great shows, from Mario and Katie, Mario the Maker Magician, giving us day-by-day various different great magic tricks and maker tricks. We've got Code Joy, we've got Dr. Sparks, we've got Brown Dog Gadgets, and so many more. So lots of content throughout the week. It's been awesome, and I'm excited that today we get to do a little bit of a parent happy hour and talk about some of the things that we've been going through, but also talk about what's in this new issue of Make. So if you guys are watching this online at home right now and you have access to social media channels, be sure to do a hashtag for hashtag Make Together to let us know that you are watching and to let the world know that you're watching. And if you want to send any questions or comments to me or any of the guests that are on this broadcast right now, go ahead and do that in the social media channels. They'll get funneled over to us and we can answer them live on air. Okay, so let's get started with this broadcast. Okay, so what I'd like to do is first, I'm going to introduce our three guests. We've got Justine Haupt, who is the creator of the rotary cell phone and incredible maker. We've got Matthew Ruttergreen, who did our article about the low fidelity maker cart. And then Adnan, and how do you say your last name, Adnan? Oh, wait for you to come off mute. It looks like you're still muted there.
Sorry, Aga.
Aga, okay. And Adnan's part of Deep Local, which is a design firm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And they created a really fun project. It's a musical, a song playing 20-second soap dispensing timer setup, but also it has a project in our big overview of different makers working on COVID-19 response projects. So, let me do this as you guys are watching. I know that Justine, you've gotten a copy of this issue so far. Matthew and Adnan, I don't know if you've had a chance to see this. It just came out. This copy just showed up to my desk a couple days ago, so I've barely had a chance to see it yet. And what I'm going to do is flip through this a little bit, and as I get to the different sections that you guys are part of, I'd love to talk through it with you. And to do that, I'm going to flip my camera. Actually, real quick, I want to introduce, since this is parent Maker Camp happy hour, I'm going to introduce, I'm a parent too. This is my little guy. This is Massimo. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
We've got Justine, we got Matthew, we got Adnan. And Matthew, what's your kid's name?
This little girl is named Ada.
Say hi, Ada.
Hi, Ada.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good. Okay.
Thanks, Massimo.
We're going to do our broadcast. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, let me switch my cameras to this one here, and I can do this overhead view. Are you guys able to see this as we're looking at it?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so Make Volume 73. You can see right here, top corner, Justine's rotary cell phone. Really fun, awesome project. I'm glad that we got that in there. TOC, as always, our masthead. Letters to the editorial staff. You can see someone built our pizza oven. I love getting these. These are photos of the collections that people have made of their Make magazines, and it's always cool to see it because it's, everybody that's a Make fan seems like they've got their bookshelf with all their makes, and I got mine right over there as well. So feel free to please send us photos and letters. We love putting them in the magazine. Here's one of our Brown Dog Gadgets. This is one of our Maker Camp hosts, and they do fun projects throughout the week. Made on Earth is always a section where we talk about different projects that people are making, just sort of quick profiles of different people. This one here is a maker that I met in Jalisco. I'm wearing my Jalisco Maker Faire t-shirt right now. That's one of the makers that I had met there. This is the third installation of our series on how to save the planet. We've got not a whole lot of time left to figure out how to get a whole new system for power usage, consumption, and generation. Saul Griffith's been putting together a really fantastic project or series of articles with that. The Dene Navajo Maker Faire was the last Maker Faire that we've had, physical Maker Faire, before this pandemic shutdown happened. And this was at the Navajo Nation. Our editor, Keith Hammond, attended this one, took these photos, did a great write-up about it. And I say physical Maker Faire because let me switch back over here real quick. I will also use this opportunity really fast to say that this weekend on Saturday, we are having our very first virtual Maker Faire, and we are calling it Virtually Maker Faire. And I would love to see everybody that's watching this right now take part. It's a 24-hour broadcast. It starts at 8 p.m. on Friday night, which is the start of the day in Asia, and will make its way around the world, from the Asias to Europe and Africa, and then to the Americas. And we're just finalizing our lineup of makers. I believe all three of you have presentations for this, so thank you guys for taking part in that. But it's we're trying to figure out how to do Maker Fairs in this new world, and I'm really excited about this lineup that we put together. Go to makerfair.com and check out this the Meet the Makers page. It's really inspiring. So many people are jumped forward to say, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So we've got Saturday, this Saturday, May 23rd, we've got a Maker Faire that's happening, and I'm really excited about it. All right, let me jump back over to Magazine View. And here is our COVID-19 section here. As we flip through it, we talk about all these different makers and groups and the projects they're working on, from face shields and ventilators and PAPRs, respirators, so many different projects. And then right here, we've got to mention here of the Deep Local. This is an irradiation cabinet that you guys put together. Adnan, do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, sure. So the UV cabinet was the second project in our Cabin Fever series, which was just a bunch of projects that we thought would be useful and helpful during these crazy times. So this was put together by actually another team that wanted to focus on sterilizing just anything from your wallet to your phone to your keys. And they managed to make a very low cost version of it, which I thought was really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those interesting ones that seemed like it came up a little bit after, as people started looking at the needs for what the community has for equipment. It seemed like ventilators was the very first thing that people jumped on. This was projected to be a real big issue, the lack of ventilators, and then and they're complicated and they're challenging, and there was also suddenly recognition for a need for the face masks and the PPE gear, and so a lot of people started moving into that to help generate those pieces. But at a certain point, I started seeing a lot of sterilization notes. So it's great to see that you guys had worked on some pieces around that specifically. All right, and then I'm going to jump forward to the next project that I've got flagged in here. Let me switch back over here. And this is, Adnan, your song playing soap dispenser. Mm-hmm. Give us an overview of what this is all about. I think this is so fun.
Yeah, so Scrubber is a smart soap dispenser that essentially plays 20 seconds of music selected right from your most played Spotify tracks. So what it is it's a off-the-shelf soap dispenser, a Raspberry Pi Zero, a speaker bonnet, a battery, and some custom code that essentially talks to the Spotify API and then will pull down 20 of your favorite songs, and then we get the chorus part of it, or just the catchiest part of it. And so when you press down on the pump, it'll play that segment for you. And so you've got a nice 20-second timer while you're lathering up your hands.
What's your favorite song snippet that you've come across so far for yourself?
So I think for me, I was very into that one song by Dua Lipa. Um, the name escapes me at the moment, but I remember hearing it over and over again because like that song was just in my the song was just in my head for like the longest time, and then this just added to that. So I had a serious case of like, Dua Lipa earworm, basically.
All right.
It was just stuck in my head.
All right. As soon as it comes to you, start
Mhm.
singing it, because I want to know what it is. I don't know the name Dua Lipa. I'll have to look
It was
this up.
Start Now, I believe was the song.
All right. And tell us a little bit about Deep Local, because you've got a couple of different representations in here, but Deep Local, it's a design firm in Pittsburgh. What's the story there?
So Deep Local is essentially a creative marketing agency. We are originally a CMU like spinoff, and we started off with the Nike Chalkbot, which was this robot that would write messages that people would like send out on the road for the Tour de France. And so that's how it got it. That's how the company got it. Like its like big start was with Nike there. But then now it's turned into a more like we've worked with brands like Netflix and Google, creating like fun experiences, like a pair of socks that would pause your show as you fell asleep for Netflix.
Yeah, I remember that one. That one went pretty big.
Yeah. To working on like the giant gumball machine at CES. So we've done the very small to the very large.
Yeah.
And so this period of like COVID-19 and all of that was like an interesting exercise in doing all of our work remotely, but still being able to like make creations like this.
Yeah. It sounds like a fun place to work.
It really is. There's a lot of flexibility and variety on the stuff we work on. A lot of our projects are fairly short. They're like maybe 3 to 4 weeks of from like concept to build. So it can be a little fast paced, but the thing is, every project is so different that it like keeps things interesting.
Nice. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of comments so far from some of the viewers, so I'm gonna throw these ones out real quick. John from Facebook is saying that he is amped for Virtually Maker Faire, and so am I. Awesome. Thanks, John. I'm glad you're excited. Rachel, also on Facebook, is saying that she is glad that Make Magazine is alive. Thank you. So am I. It's been a pretty exciting year, and I think that we've got a really good set of momentum behind us, especially with everything that's happening right now. So I'm glad that we're doing what we're doing. And then the 3D printing professor, he's on YouTube right now watching, and he's saying, "Hey, all, hanging with the cool people." And I agree, you are hanging out with the cool people. Okay, so let me jump back over to magazine view, and I will go to the very next page right after the soap dispenser, and we get right into our low fidelity prototyping cart. And Matthew, this is your project. You and I had a conversation. I know that you had helped work with the Construct 3D event and got to be pretty familiar with some of the Make team, and that's how I got my introduction to you. And then we had a conversation. You're telling me about some of your world travels, and but it's interesting because this is. First, I guess, talk about this project, and then I want to talk about like the breadth of the stuff that you do.
Sure. So in Make 73, you're going to find some instructions for how to create what's called a low fidelity prototyping cart and or kit. And this is an assembly of materials that you can find around your home, maybe in your junk drawer or maybe in your office supply drawer. And it might be Post-it notes, paper clips, tape, scissors, glue. And they're simple materials, but when combined, they can help you solve problems. I believe that prototyping is a life skill, just like many other important life skills. And the low fidelity prototyping cart is something that absolutely everybody in their life should have sort of next to their first aid kit, next to their toolkit in their house to help them solve problems. And so in Make 73, you're going to see a list of materials that could be included in the cart, but also a list of functions that you can look for when you're assembling your own low fidelity prototyping cart.
Yeah, I really like how this turned out, and it's actually been really inspiring for me. I realize that I have next to me at my desk, and we probably all have a little sort of a semblance of this that I've done kind of unconsciously, but now through this conversation, it's in this article, it's given me the motivation to take this and turn it into something that's more refined and efficient and official. So I could pull out my drawer here, and I've got my glue section, I've got my tape section, and my fasteners, and then some simple tools as well in there, because it turns out that I'm always at this desk, so I should have stuff close at hand the way that I need it. What I think is really interesting is the backstory of this, and what you wrote about at the start of the article about what was the sort of the genesis of this concept. And can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so Ada is expressing her appreciation for this webinar right now. So
that's great. It's parent happy hour. So Ada, go for it.
So in the summers, I travel to international locations and I help set up engineering design programs. And the genesis of this article was that I was in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa, and I was visiting the largest open air market on the continent there. And I just had two goals for the entire day. One was to retrieve plastic, and one was to retrieve wood, both of which would be used to teach how to build. But what I was bringing was a Western mindset, in particular an American mindset, of what plastic looked like and what wood looked like. And what I found at this market was nothing like I was familiar with. And in fact, styrofoam is something that is not a material you can just buy. Styrofoam is something that objects come packaged in, and they don't know what to do with it. Felt is something that doesn't exist in the Ethiopian market. And so I was really challenged to expand my idea of what it meant to build things. And so now when I travel internationally, I want to go two places. I want to go to the market to see how people build and see how people think about building. And actually, I want to go to the city dump to understand what they use and what they don't use and what they reuse. And those are the two fascinating locations that are actually on any of my vacation locations.
That's so great. Yeah, it's all one of my things that I've identified in myself. I'm a scrappy maker. I love having a project and getting stuck on something and then having to rummage through my garage to find just the right piece of something that I may have stored for a long time, or I have to yank off of something else to make it work. I hate having to go out and buying just virgin components and wood and cutting stuff up and throwing a bunch of waste away. So this really speaks to me.
And that's how most people in the world actually build, is with everything that's available, right? They're not going to Amazon and buying something new. They're saying, I have a reuse mentality. Why don't I just use what's around here? And so a scrappy builder, or maybe just somebody like Bill, who builds like the rest of the world.
Yeah. And so now you're at Rice. You're part of the design kitchen there. That's a component of the engineering department. And your team also helped put together a ventilator project as this pandemic started too. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So the Oshman Engineering Design Kitchen, or the ODEC as our students call it, is the prototyping facility on campus. It's a 20,000 square foot facility, and we built the Apollo BVM, and it's a bridge device that helps provide respiratory support. It's not a ventilator, because a ventilator is high cost and also very complex. This is a low complexity machine that uses the bag valve mask, which are ubiquitously available in high stock. And we attached some servo motors to it, and it compresses it at physiologically relevant ranges. We built it in 30 days and got a manufacturing partnership with Stewart and Stevenson, who is going to produce this in a large quantity. At the same time, we also released this open source so that it can be a kit for others to build worldwide. And although the ventilator shortage is not as large as predicted in the United States, there are 187 other countries in the world. that may experience some sort of ventilator shortage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I think that's what a lot of the conversation is now, is that some of the developing nations are where we're really going to see that need develop. And I'm starting to see the articles showing up that, some of those developing nations are now turning into the hotspots. So this pandemic's making its way into some of those communities. So, well, thank you for helping be part of that effort as well.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah. I'm going to grab a couple more comments from some of these viewers here. Alvin on Facebook says, I love this. And I love you, Alvin. Philip on YouTube says, Makers Rule. Matthew, there's one that's apparently right for you. This John on Facebook says, what was the last thing you made for your kit? Yeah, that's the question. What's the last thing you made for your kit?
That's a great question. So nothing's coming to mind, and I don't want to take up too much time, but I will say that I think that this kit is the closest thing to MacGyver that you can experience in your real life. Most of the things that I do with the kit are fixing other things. But I will say that there's a Bajaj challenge that I run with my students where I build a Bajaj or a tuk-tuk, and we race it. And so that's the last thing that I built with the kit.
Nice.
Good question, John.
And so there's another comment that feeds right into that. It's Philip on YouTube, and he comments Scrapyard Wars, which is, I think that's a reference to the TV show. There was Junkyard Wars, and then there was the British version that was the Scrap Heap Challenge. You guys remember this? This is from about like 10, 12 years ago. Great show. Oh, so fun. I love that type of TV content, which, I don't watch any TV anymore, but that's the stuff that if they keep making that, I'll keep finding a way to watch it. 3D printing professor loves that Ada found her lips, and John from Facebook says he feels for you, baby fingernail in the eye. So that's lots of comments for Ada. I'm glad that we got a special guest on
Thank you,
the
everyone.
podcast here. All right, let me move back over here into the issue. Here's an article about Maker Camp. We have introduction from Mario, Maker Magician, some projects. Hey, look at that. There's my little guy. It's Massimo. We made a boomerang. This was actually a boomerang created by Slater Harrison and his team. It's so easy to make. It's 3 craft sticks and some construction paper or cardstock, and it flies so good. Well, we had a really good time whipping this around the street. It's so cheap and simple and easy. And then a few other Maker Camp caliber projects. And then from there, we get right over to this great one. And Justine, this is your rotary cell phone. This is something that I spotted on the internet towards the start of 2020, and this took off like a rocket. So let's talk about what this rotary cell phone journey has been like for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this was a personal project that I think I made for my, I think I made for myself. I don't have a smartphone. I never have, and I don't like smartphones, and I don't like text. I don't text. And so I thought, well, on Adafruit, there's this phone module, basically a breakout, a development board with a GSM module for the connecting to the cell network with voice. And I thought, oh, I'll make my own phone. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, I was just trying to be creative. This is my own personal thing. I didn't think anyone else would really ever see it too much, except for people I would see in person. And I'm an engineer, and I don't, when I make things, I usually I don't usually just kludge them together. I like going all out. I'll lay out
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. So, and actually that one that got all the that went viral, to my surprise, was the second iteration. The first one wasn't as refined looking. And anyway, so that the first, all right, yeah, let me talk about that for a minute. I made the first version, which was on the 2G network, because it was using this Adafruit cell phone breakout board. And I'll tell you, I realized in hindsight, it takes this special kind of idiot to build, to make one's own cell phone on a network that's sunsetting like this year. So when I realized that, I was like, okay, I might as well, kind of fix all the things I didn't like about it. The first one was much boxier looking, and I had some neat ideas I wanted to try out. So I went ahead and made a version. I didn't know much about all these different cell generations at the time. I was my head was in a bit in a hole with all this stuff. So they have Adafruit has a 3G cell module, which I hadn't noticed somehow the first time. So then I built this new phone based on the 3G module, which is also it isn't going to be around that much longer, another year or two. Some networks have already closed. So but it's fine. Adafruit doesn't have a 4G one, and I'm doing the new version of the phone, which will be a 4G one. Oh, I'm skipping ahead. So this thing went viral, and I was getting 20 emails a day from people wanting one. I'm like, no, why do you want one? It's a stupid thing. Why do you want a rotary cell phone? The reason I made it was I thought I wanted a phone that would be more functional as a phone than a smartphone. You don't have to open an application to get to the phone. You just start using it as a phone, and I could even have hard keys to get to call the people I call the most and all that. So it'd be more effective as a phone actually than a smartphone. And what a slap in the face to minimalist, smartphone design to use the most tactile, most antiquated data user interface I could think of. So that so I used the rotary dial and well, I lost my train of thought. Anyway,
well, I saw this on Twitter just as it was starting to pick up, and suddenly it seemed like every tech website was writing about it, and you got written up in some really big outlets for this rotary cell phone.
Yeah, well, Make Magazine, for example.
Yeah, like those guys.
Right, and but one of the first people to call me was well, yeah. So it went viral. It really went viral. I have my own personal website that I keep as a portfolio of my own projects for both professional life and my own stuff, just mostly for record keeping. And I guess somebody found it and it got tweeted or whatever. And right, so I got a call for a telephone interview from Wired magazine. I'm like, oh, I'll take that interview. And then they ran an article and a bunch of other newspapers, some magazines, and things like that. And eventually it wound up on like Fox News and things. So it was like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
But right, so I was getting so many emails from people wanting one, and I had no intention whatsoever to sell the thing. It was just a personal project, and I wanted it to be my own thing. And so but meanwhile, I was actually trying to start a company for a couple of years now, developing open source hardware, mostly robotics. And I realized, it dawned on me, wait a minute, why am I insisting on not selling it? I should have it be a product. So now I'm working on the 4G version, which will incorporate an LTE, voice over LTE cell module right on my main board, and it'll have some other enhancements. It'll be more compact. I decided I'm going to put a mechanical bell in it, which will be pretty cool. So it'll have
No way, that's great.
Yeah, and actually with all the optimizing I'm doing, because I have to do everything from scratch, including the rotary dial, because I can't source these vintage dials in the quantities I'm going to be making these in now. It's now, I'm optimizing the mechanical design and the packaging enough that even with the mechanical bell, it'll be significantly more compact than the version you have there, the 3G version. Which I'm going to point out, I sent that to you. I see it sitting on your desk there,
Yep.
Mike. And I realized after I sent it that it had a couple of the parts that I only have working. I accidentally included working parts in there, and I didn't. And I lost the ability to use my own phone. But that's okay, because it's I'm so steeped in the 4G version, and I'm just using my old flip phone for a bit. But right, the bottom line is it's a real phone. I mean, it wasn't just a novelty. I'd been using it as my primary phone, and there it is.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sending this. So you sent this to us for photography, and I didn't realize that I was going to be actually robbing you of your working telephone.
No, I didn't. That's my fault. I didn't even. I felt bad even to say anything, so I didn't, and I didn't mean to. Now even, but because I'm working on the 4G one, and I was probably going to take it apart to work on it anyway, and it's fine. It's anyway. So yeah, that's the whole story, and it's been a wild ride. I reduced my time at my day job at a national lab to 60% to focus on all this other side work I'm doing now, which is a weird, it's a weird feeling.
Well, congrats. I mean, that's great that you've, it always seems like there's a catalyst that kickstarts people into, these types of lives and these roles. So, I think that it's well deserved. But yeah, this thing's, I mean, it's so cool. And, you've married the highest of high tech with some 100-year-old telephone technology concepts. I love the curved e-ink screen on the back.
Yeah.
That's the stuff where I see this and then, and I've seen some DIY cell phone stuff before. People have, we've run a couple projects in the magazine, but just the refinement of this as your, kind of as like a kickoff project, a personal project where, who goes like, oh yeah, I'll do a curved display for a personal project. That's so cool.
That damn curved display gave me so many headaches. I don't know why I stuck with it. Anyway, yeah, it's cool. Thank you. I'm happy.
Yeah, and I got a comment. Someone was asking if I could call you on this right now, but it's I think that there was a couple pieces in this one that it wasn't functional.
Yeah, I have some working parts in the one I have here in my desk, which is totally in pieces. It's it's like all there's the inside, and a few in that one, and neither of them are in calling condition right now. So sorry to whoever made that comment.
You know what, and this is going to sound really silly, but one of the things that I, when this arrived to us, one of the things that I geeked out with the team about, that you've got your own packing tape. This is your company, Sky's Edge. You just launched this as okay, I'm going to do this company, but you already have packing tape for your own company.
Yeah, it was kind of a perfect storm because, like I said, I've been trying to make my own company for years, and I already had a logo worked out. I made it in, Inkscape. I'm a Linux user, and I worked out the logo, and I realized that, I'm not going to have my own boxes printed, but you can order custom tape from Uline, and if you order something like 50 rolls, it's actually it's even a bit cheaper than buying plain rolls of packing tape from Home Depot or whatever. So it was it's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, it's cool tape, right? I got it in a few weeks. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
I'm totally on board. I don't know if Make has its own tape, but I wouldn't be surprised if we've got our own tape coming up really soon, because that's really cool.
Yeah. It makes me look like I have an actual company, and it's really, instead of just one person,
Yeah. And at this point, I think this qualifies. You've got really good product lineup in the works. And so then beyond this, you've got the low speed motor controller as one of your products.
Yeah.
And,
Go ahead.
On a telepresence robot as well, right?
It's not a telepresence robot. I think
personal assistant robot.
Well, not even that. The rope. Oh, it's not even on. I should just roll it over. Okay. I should have thought to power it up and all that stuff. But this is it's a Pathfinder robot, a demonstrator robot for doing. Eventually, I want to have a. Okay, so you kind of see it there. I just turned it on. It's big. It's a big guy, and the screen. Well, I won't go through the whole thing, but the idea is it's a Pathfinder to do development for domestic, a dexterous domestic robot, something that can do more than just vacuum, something that can clean generic surfaces. I have a lot of ideas for cool things, and so yeah, I have, just too many projects at the same time. But that was what I intended to start the company for. So I after a couple of years working on this controller to control brushless motors in this, in a way that's appropriate for robotics, this silly phone went viral, and I'm selling like these kits for these phones. And now and I've only sold like 2 of the thing I've been working on, developing for the past couple of years. It's kind of a bittersweet. It'll work out. It's good.
It will work out. Yeah. Can I put in a feature request for your robot?
Sure.
I've been, and this is something I say that anytime that I take a tour of a robot company, I always ask, oh, can this thing water my plants for me? And they go, nah, no, it's not going to do that. And I'm like, what's it going to do? It's got a camera, play some music. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a Roomba without a vacuum with a Alexa on it. Like, I have that. I need something that can spot my plant and say, oh, that soil's dry, roll over and just squirt a little bit of water into it.
That's actually reasonable, and that's something you could imagine doing. Yeah, thank you for that.
No, thank you.
And but you made a great point. It's like, okay, everybody's ready for the idea of having robots roam around the home, and yet nobody can think of anything to do. Nobody actually wants to go, no one's actually gotten them being, worked out how to have them actually, pick up things and fold clothes and all that stuff. So what they do is just like, whoa, it could be a moving, smart hub, which is just stupid. I mean, it's not going to take off that way. But these ones that can actually interact with our environment are coming very soon, I'm sure. And now that smart self-driving cars are a thing, it's only a matter of, I mean, that the enabling technologies are more or less all there, I think.
Yeah. Good. Well, I love what you're doing, and I'm excited to keep watching the products. For me, it's like you're like the new Apple to me. What's Justine's next project going to be?
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
I'm not kidding. I'm totally serious.
Oh,
so I've got comments too. Okay, let's see. What are people saying here? We've got request. Someone wants to hear the dial tone on this. And I don't know where the microphone is on my computer, but I'm going to just do this. I'm going to be quiet. Not the dial tone, but the rotary sound.
Oh.
Is that coming through at all?
A little bit. It's very satisfying.
It is very satisfying. It feels great.
It may not be apparent on this, but it is.
Yeah, that's really good. It's a quiet sound, but it's very. I mean, it's very physical. It's not that digital reproduction sound.
Yeah, satisfying. And of course, if it were powered on and working, it would generate a DTMF tone after every But right.
Yeah. Someone says power it with steam. The steampunk folks are out in full force tonight.
Right.
We've got and that's it. See, that was from Philip Nichols on YouTube. He's asking for the steam power. This is not a phone comment. Someone saying that they're watching from Argentina. They were watching a make video and saw that we're live, so they're watching right now. So we got viewers all over the planet right now. Very cool. Augustine, thanks for watching. And 3D printing professor, another question from him. How do we find all these great projects? Asking us at Twitter, Reddit, Instagram. Let me ask you three. You guys, I'm sure that you find cool projects online. Where do you guys usually spot cool projects?
So at least for me, probably my top 2 would be like Hacker News. You end up finding like the coolest stuff. I'm pretty sure I saw that's the first place where I saw the rotary phone. So that was like pretty cool. And then honestly, Reddit too. You find some gems on Reddit every now and then.
Yeah, those are both great.
So for me, I gotta say, Make's website has an incredible number of projects, and then Hackaday has some excellent, really heavy tech projects. And then just when I'm feeling like I'm in a good mood or I want something fun, I just going through all the projects on Thingiverse that I can download.
That's great. Yeah. Justine, do you find yourself coming across projects?
Yeah. Let's see.
Stuff that gets you excited.
I think I usually happen across them randomly or friends email me, but Hackaday for sure. Make for sure. 2600 magazine, if anyone knows about that, has some very interesting ideas, and you get the creative juices flowing. And Yeah, I don't know. Right, I don't have a one go-to thing, you know.
Yeah, 2600. That's a classic. That's a good one to.
Yeah.
In fact, I should pull that back into my regular rotation.
Yeah, especially now, I think it's more relevant than ever. Not so much maker stuff, but you know, anything computer related and creativity in that regard.
Yeah. Philip is also saying he wants a coronavirus testing robot. Maybe drone waterer. Mentioned that in France they're using drones to spray sanitizer. And 3D printer professor says that he wants a robot to take his garbage cans to the curb and to mow his lawn, which is something that now I've got a 6-year-old son. I'm starting to think he's turning into that exact thing that you're asking for. I'll send him over. But otherwise, okay. So let me see if there's any other quick things that I want to mention in this issue of Make, because it's a great issue. We've got wind turbine project. We've got a mini Jacob's ladder, tiny Jacob's ladder. I was thinking about renaming this as we were going through it, like the micro Jacob's ladder or nano Jacob's ladder, but then I felt like I would get myself into a corner if we ever run a even smaller Jacob's ladder project. And we've already gone nano, so now we've still got room to go smaller.
That's in the current issue?
This is in the current issue, yeah. If you want,
I got my hard copy, and I was like, oh cool, my thing's in there, and I haven't had a chance to actually read anything in it.
yeah,
I will.
890.
Okay.
Every mad scientist needs a Jacob's ladder in his or her workshop, Justine.
I think you're right.
This sequin clock, you know, this like this new sequin thing where you like I see it a lot in clothes where you rub it one way and it's red and the other way and it's blue, or different colors or dinosaur shapes. But someone made a clock out of that. That it's a sort of a gantry system to flip that through. It's a fun project that you could build. We get into some skill builders. I just think this is a really great issue. But part of what I'm just so excited of and proud about is just the coverage of what this community has done to step up and really tackle the needs of the equipment deficiencies, the gear deficiencies that happened immediately as this pandemic started. I'm just really proud of this maker community, flexing its muscles and just being fearless about all of this. And you know, it's sort of like this is the moment that all these makers have been rehearsing for. It's real, and you know, their legitimacy. It's, you know, it's very obvious right now. So you guys are included in that. I appreciate the stuff that you've done to be part of it, and everyone else that's been in there. And so with that, I'm going to start wrapping up, but I will swing back one more time to mention Virtually Maker Faire, which is this weekend. It's on Saturday. It's a 24-hour broadcast. Go to makerfaire.com. That's MAKERFARE, like the old-fashioned fair style, .com, and you can make sure to check out the call or the Meet the Makers page as we're putting together the schedule. It's going to be around the world, 24 hours of broadcasts, just incredible projects, and a lot of it is COVID-19 based and related, but not entirely. So we've got a mix of some of the inspiration general maker content and everything else. Those of you who want to get a copy of this issue, right now we've got free shipping for anyone in the US. If you go to makershed.com, we've got a special there. I think we've got that in the description fields for the for this broadcast as well. And I also encourage you guys once again to be part of Maker Camp at makercamp.com and Make Community at make.co. Make members get early access to it. In fact, the Make members had access to this like a week ago online. So if you get sign up for a membership, you can read the new issues of Make exclusively early access. It's very cool. Before I sign off, I want to make sure you guys, if any websites or social media channels that you guys want to mention, give yourselves all a promotion. I'll start with Justine. You go first.
I guess I'll just mention this company I started, open source stuff, skyesedge.us.
Yep, that's right here on your packing tape.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
skyesedge.us. Very cool. Yes, you've got great projects underway and more coming. Matthew, what about you?
I want to give a big shout out, first of all, to Make Magazine this COVID issue. Great job. And thank you for having us on. And if you want more information about the work that we do at Rice at the OEDK, the website's easy. It's oedk.rice.edu. And you can see all the projects that we do, as well as the Apollo BVM, and celebrate some of the students' work. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Adnan?
Thank you for having us on for this happy hour. I just wanted to shout out Taylor Tabb, who is actually the co-creator of Scrubber with me on this. And then I also wanted to say, if you go to deeplocal.com/scrubber, you can see we put up instructions on how to make your own Scrubber on GitHub, and we have a parts list and assembly and all the code that we used. Make your Scrubbers, guys.
Yeah, do it. Make sure to wash those hands and wear your face masks and be safe and everything. It's all important. We got to do it. All right. Well, great. Thank you to all three of you. And thanks to everybody that's watching. And thanks to everybody that's going to be participating this weekend at Maker Faire and observing that. So I look forward to seeing you guys again in a couple days online. And with that, I will say good night and have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.